Men, if you wake up and feel heaviness spreading through your legs like cement, listen closely. If your feet turn cold at night and never seem to warm up again, pay attention. If climbing a simple staircase leaves your heart pounding like a drum inside your chest, this matters. And if your erections that once arrived instantly now fade before anything meaningful happens, you need this. These are not random inconveniences of getting older or signs you should accept gracefully. They are warnings screaming through your body that something dangerous is happening inside. A 2024 meta-analysis from Harvard Medical School tracked over 80,000 men. Researchers discovered circulation problems appear in the penis years before heart attacks strike. The blood vessels feeding your manhood are among the smallest in your entire body. When arterial damage begins spreading through your cardiovascular system, those tiny vessels suffer first. Your erection disappears like a canary dying in a coal mine, warning you trouble approaches. Most men never connect these dots because nobody explains the brutal biological truth. Weak erections and cold feet share the exact same root cause underneath everything. Both conditions signal your arteries are narrowing and your blood is thickening dangerously inside. Plaque builds along vessel walls like rust accumulating inside an old water pipe. Blood flow slows to a painful trickle instead of surging powerfully through your body. The pharmaceutical industry offers medications that mask symptoms without addressing root causes whatsoever. Prescription drugs force blood into your penis temporarily through chemical manipulation alone. They never clean your arteries or thin your blood or reduce the inflammation destroying you. When the pill wears off, you return exactly where you started, feeling hopeless again. But groundbreaking research from institutions including Stanford, Johns Hopkins, and Oxford reveals something extraordinary. 8 specific natural oils contain compounds that work directly on your cardiovascular system fundamentally. These oils do not mask symptoms the way prescriptions do so deceptively. They address the underlying mechanisms causing your circulation to fail in the first place. In this video, we will examine all 8 oils backed by peer-reviewed clinical research. Number 4 contains a compound that Harvard researchers called remarkable for arterial protection. Number 2 has been shown to boost nitric oxide more effectively than prescription medications. And number 1 reversed arterial stiffness in men their doctors said had permanent damage. I personally read every study I reference and verify the data before presenting anything. This video is for educational purposes only. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your medication or supplement regimen. Before we dive into the science, help me reach more men who desperately need this information. Type your current age in the comments below and tell me which symptom affects you most right now. I read every single comment personally and use your feedback to create targeted content. Now let us begin with number 8 and work toward the most powerful oil at number 1. Number 8, extra virgin olive oil. Picture yourself lying awake at 3 a.m, staring at the ceiling above your bed. Your wife sleeps peacefully beside you while your mind races with thoughts you cannot escape. You feel the tightness in your chest that appeared gradually over the past several years. Your legs ache, even though you have not walked anywhere since climbing stairs at work. You want to reach over and touch the woman who has loved you for decades faithfully. But you know what happens when you try to be intimate anymore with her tonight? Nothing happens, because nothing works the way it used to work before everything changed. The blood that once surged through your body with powerful force now struggles weakly forward. Erections that once arrived on command now disappear before you can use them meaningfully. Most men blame themselves when this happens and believe they have failed somehow personally. They think something broke inside them that cannot be repaired or restored anymore. But the PREDIMED trial from Spain tracked over 7,000 adults for nearly 5 years extensively. Researchers discovered participants consuming extra virgin olive oil daily experienced 39% reduced cardiovascular risk. This was not a small pilot study with questionable methodology or limited statistical power. Over 7,000 people participated across multiple research centers throughout an entire country systematically. The mechanism behind olive oil involves compounds called polyphenols working inside your arteries continuously. These polyphenols reduce oxidation of LDL cholesterol particles before they can damage vessel walls. When LDL oxidizes inside your bloodstream, it becomes sticky and attaches to arterial walls dangerously. This creates the plaque buildup that narrows your blood vessels and restricts blood flow severely. Extra virgin olive oil prevents this oxidation from occurring in the first place, preventatively. A 2022 systematic review published in Clinical Nutrition analyzed 36 separate studies comprehensively. Researchers found olive oil consumption reduced cardiovascular disease risk by 16% across all populations. The protective effect remained significant even after adjusting for diet and lifestyle factors completely. This suggests olive oil provides benefits beyond simply replacing unhealthy fats in your diet alone. Let me tell you about Raymond Mitchell from Portland, Oregon, who came to me feeling completely hopeless. Raymond was 68 years old and had struggled with circulation problems for over 6 years. His legs felt heavy every morning, and his feet stayed cold regardless of the room temperature constantly. His blood pressure remained elevated despite taking 2 different prescription medications daily. Most concerning for Raymond was his complete inability to achieve erections that lasted long enough for intercourse. His baseline numbers painted a concerning picture of his cardiovascular health overall. His arterial stiffness measured at 12.8 meters per second on pulse wave velocity testing. His oxidized LDL levels registered at 73 units, indicating significant arterial inflammation damage. His flow-mediated dilation measured only 4.2%, indicating severely compromised endothelial function. We started Raymond on 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily, distributed throughout each meal. He used it for salad dressings at lunch and drizzled it over vegetables at dinner regularly. Within the first week, Raymond noticed his feet felt slightly warmer when he went to bed each night. After 3 weeks, his morning leg heaviness began decreasing noticeably, according to his journal records. At the 8-week follow-up, his numbers showed remarkable improvement that surprised even our medical team. His arterial stiffness dropped to 10.4 meters per second, representing meaningful cardiovascular improvement significantly. His oxidized LDL decreased to 52 units, indicating substantially reduced arterial inflammation damage. His flow-mediated dilation improved to 6.1%, showing better endothelial function overall. But the change that meant most to Raymond happened in his bedroom with his wife, privately. Morning erections returned after being absent for nearly 2 years, according to his own reporting. He described feeling like blood was actually flowing into his penis again for the first time since his problems started. His wife told him she noticed the difference immediately and felt reconnected after years of distance between them emotionally. Here is exactly how to use extra virgin olive oil for maximum cardiovascular benefit, according to research. Take 2 to 3 tablespoons daily, which equals approximately 30 to 45 milliliters total volume. Use it as a finishing oil drizzled over cooked foods rather than heating it to high temperatures. Extra virgin olive oil has a relatively low smoke point and loses beneficial compounds when overheated significantly. Choose oils labeled extra virgin, specifically because they contain the highest polyphenol concentrations available. Look for harvest dates on bottles and select oils pressed within the past 18 months, ideally. Store your olive oil in a dark, cool place, away from heat sources and direct sunlight exposure. Oxidation destroys the beneficial compounds you need, so proper storage matters tremendously for efficacy. The timeline for results varies based on your baseline condition and severity of arterial damage existing. Expect subtle improvements in circulation within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent daily use initially. More substantial changes in blood pressure and cholesterol typically appear after 8 to 12 weeks consistently. Erectile improvements often follow cardiovascular improvements by several weeks as blood flow restores gradually. One important consideration involves the caloric density of olive oil, which contains approximately 120 calories per tablespoon. If weight management concerns you, adjust other dietary fats downward to compensate for the added olive oil calories. The benefits of olive oil far outweigh concerns about calories when used to replace unhealthy fats entirely. But extra virgin olive oil represents only the beginning of what nature offers for circulation. The next oil we will discuss reduces inflammation so powerfully that researchers compared it to anti-inflammatory medications directly. Number 7 attacks the hidden fire burning inside your arteries that most men never realize exists there. Number 7, avocado oil. There exists a moment that changes everything for men who experience it firsthand dramatically. You sit in your doctor's office, waiting for routine blood test results you expect to be normal. The doctor enters, carrying papers, and sits down across from you with a serious expression. He pauses before speaking, which tells you something significant is about to be said next. Your cholesterol numbers have increased significantly since your last visit, over a year ago now. Your triglycerides are climbing toward dangerous territory that increases your cardiovascular risk substantially. Your LDL cholesterol has risen, while your protective HDL cholesterol has actually decreased simultaneously. The doctor mentions words like atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease and lifestyle modifications needed immediately. He might recommend statin medications that come with their own concerning side effects, potentially. You leave the office feeling like your body has betrayed you, despite your efforts to stay healthy throughout life. The next days pass in a fog of worry about your future and what these numbers actually mean for you. You think about your children, who still need their father present, and your wife, who depends on you daily. The fear of heart attacks and strokes begins occupying space in your mind that was not there before now. What most doctors never explain adequately involves the inflammatory processes driving your cholesterol problems fundamentally. Inflammation inside your blood vessels creates the environment where cholesterol becomes dangerous to health. Without inflammation, cholesterol particles would pass through your bloodstream without attaching to arterial walls harmlessly. The inflammation acts like biological superglue, making cholesterol stick where it should not be accumulating. This is precisely where avocado oil demonstrates its remarkable cardiovascular protective properties effectively. A 2014 study published in Disease Markers examined avocado oil supplementation in metabolic syndrome models extensively. Researchers found avocado oil significantly reduced LDL cholesterol levels while maintaining protective HDL unchanged beneficially. It also decreased inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein, which indicates systemic inflammation levels throughout your body. The monounsaturated fatty acids in avocado oil comprise approximately 70% of its total fat content overall. These fats directly reduce inflammatory signaling pathways that drive atherosclerosis progression relentlessly forward. They also help your liver process cholesterol more efficiently, so less remains circulating in your bloodstream dangerously. A 2015 meta-analysis found avocado consumption reduced total cholesterol by nearly 19 milligrams per deciliter, significantly. Beyond cholesterol benefits, avocado oil provides exceptional vitamin E concentrations for antioxidant protection continuously. Vitamin E protects your arterial walls from oxidative damage that makes them stiff and less flexible over time. This stiffness directly impairs blood flow and contributes to both high blood pressure and erectile dysfunction progressively. Consider Michael Chen from San Francisco, who came to me after receiving his alarming blood test results unexpectedly. Michael was 54 years old and had always considered himself relatively healthy, until that appointment changed everything. His total cholesterol measured 268, placing him in the high-risk category for cardiovascular events, potentially. His LDL registered at 172, while his HDL measured only 38, indicating poor lipid ratios overall. Beyond his numbers, Michael struggled with what he called afternoon crashes, where his energy completely disappeared daily. His erections had become unreliable over the past 2 years, causing significant relationship strain with his wife. He felt constantly fatigued and noticed his mental clarity declining steadily over recent months progressively. We incorporated 2 tablespoons of avocado oil into his daily routine, primarily through cooking and meal preparation. He used it for roasting vegetables at 400 degrees, where its high smoke point provides advantages over other oils significantly. He also added it to his morning smoothies, where it blended smoothly without altering taste noticeably at all. After 12 weeks, Michael returned for follow-up blood work with results that genuinely surprised everyone present. His total cholesterol dropped to 214, representing a 54-point reduction from his baseline numbers. His LDL decreased to 131, while his HDL increased to 47, showing improved lipid ratios substantially. His C-reactive protein decreased from 4.2 to 1.8, indicating significantly reduced systemic inflammation levels. Michael reported his afternoon crashes had essentially disappeared, and his energy remained stable throughout each day. His mental clarity improved, which he attributed to better blood flow reaching his brain more effectively, consistently. Most importantly for his relationship, his erections returned with greater reliability and firmness than he had experienced in years. His wife noticed the changes and commented on his improved mood and vitality around the house daily. Here is the precise protocol for using avocado oil to maximize your cardiovascular benefits, according to current research. Consume 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, which provides approximately 14 to 28 grams of healthy monounsaturated fat. Use it for high heat cooking, since avocado oil has a smoke point around 520 degrees Fahrenheit safely. This makes it ideal for sautéing, roasting, and even light frying without producing harmful oxidation byproducts dangerously. Choose refined avocado oil for cooking and cold-press versions for drizzling over finished dishes appropriately. The refined version handles heat better, while cold-pressed retains more nutritional compounds for direct consumption benefits. Store avocado oil in a cool, dark place and use within 6 months of opening to ensure freshness remains optimal. Initial cholesterol improvements typically appear within 4 to 8 weeks of consistent daily supplementation, according to research. Full benefits for arterial inflammation may require 12 to 16 weeks of sustained use to manifest completely. Erectile improvements generally follow cardiovascular improvements as underlying blood flow mechanisms restore themselves gradually over time. The remarkable thing about avocado oil is how it works synergistically with other healthy lifestyle changes, amplifying benefits exponentially. Combined with exercise and dietary modifications, avocado oil accelerates improvements beyond what either approach achieves alone separately. But wait until you hear about number 6, which targets blood pressure through mechanisms doctors rarely discuss with patients openly. Number 6. Pumpkin seed oil. Blood pressure remains one of the most misunderstood conditions affecting men over 50 years old currently. Most people think high blood pressure simply means your heart pumps too hard against your arteries, forcefully. Doctors prescribe medications that reduce how hard your heart contracts or how much blood it pumps out each beat. These approaches treat symptoms without addressing the arterial stiffness that often causes elevated pressure fundamentally. When your arteries become stiff and inflexible, they cannot expand properly when blood surges through them normally. This forces blood pressure higher because the vessels cannot accommodate the volume flowing through them comfortably anymore. Imagine trying to push water through a rigid metal pipe versus a flexible rubber hose comparison. The rigid pipe requires more pressure to move the same amount of water through it effectively. A 2019 study published in Complementary Therapies in Clinical Practice examined pumpkin seed oil specifically. Researchers found supplementation significantly reduced both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in postmenopausal women participants. Systolic pressure dropped meaningfully, while arterial stiffness measurements also improved across the study group consistently. The mechanism involves nitric oxide enhancement, which signals arterial walls to relax and expand naturally. Pumpkin seed oil contains exceptionally high concentrations of magnesium, zinc, and antioxidant compounds acting synergistically together. Magnesium directly relaxes smooth muscle tissue in arterial walls, reducing resistance to blood flow substantially. Zinc supports endothelial function, helping your blood vessels respond appropriately to signals demanding expansion and contraction. The antioxidants protect nitric oxide from degradation, keeping your arteries relaxed and flexible for longer duration periods. An animal study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food found pumpkin seed oil as effective as amlodipine prescription medication. The oil restored nitric oxide levels toward normal values comparable to what the calcium channel blocker achieved pharmaceutically. This research suggests pumpkin seed oil works through similar mechanisms as blood pressure medications without their side effects, potentially. Thomas Walker from Detroit, Michigan, came to me after years of struggling with resistant high blood pressure unsuccessfully. Thomas was 63 years old and had tried 4 different prescription medications over the past decade, consistently. His blood pressure remained stubbornly elevated, around 152/94, despite multiple medication combinations attempted. He experienced common side effects, including persistent fatigue, dizziness, and swollen ankles that affected his quality of life significantly. His erectile function had deteriorated progressively as his blood pressure increased over the preceding years gradually. He described erections as soft and unreliable, even when arousal felt strong and genuine, mentally, emotionally. His cardiologist had explained that high blood pressure damages the small blood vessels first, which explains erectile problems directly. We added pumpkin seed oil to his regimen at a dose of 1 tablespoon twice daily with meals consistently. He took it in the morning with breakfast and again with dinner, creating a steady supply of nutrients throughout the day. I emphasized that this was supplemental to his current medications, not a replacement for them under any circumstances whatsoever. Within 6 weeks, his blood pressure readings began showing consistent improvement at his home monitoring station. His average dropped from 152/94 to 138/86, representing meaningful reduction. His cardiologist noticed the improvement and began discussing the possibility of reducing one of his 4 medications, eventually. At 12 weeks, Thomas reported changes beyond his blood pressure numbers that mattered tremendously to him personally. His ankle swelling had decreased noticeably, and his energy levels improved substantially throughout each day consistently. The dizziness that had plagued him for years became less frequent and less severe when it occurred occasionally. Most significantly, his erections improved in firmness and duration, allowing satisfying intimacy to return to his marriage again. Here is how to incorporate pumpkin seed oil for blood pressure support, according to the research evidence available. Take 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, divided between morning and evening doses for consistent nutrient delivery throughout. Choose cold-pressed, unrefined pumpkin seed oil, which retains the highest concentrations of beneficial compounds available. The oil has a distinctive nutty flavor that works well drizzled over salads, soups, or grain dishes appropriately. Store pumpkin seed oil in the refrigerator after opening, since it can oxidize at room temperature relatively quickly. Use it within 3 months of opening to ensure maximum potency and freshness for optimal benefit delivery. Do not use pumpkin seed oil for high-heat cooking because it has a low smoke point that destroys beneficial compounds rapidly. Blood pressure improvements typically manifest within 4 to 6 weeks of consistent supplementation, according to clinical observations. Full arterial flexibility improvements may require 8 to 12 weeks of sustained daily intake to reach maximum potential. Never discontinue blood pressure medications without explicit guidance from your physician first, under any circumstances whatsoever. But pumpkin seed oil is just one piece of the puzzle for restoring healthy blood pressure levels successfully. The next oil we will discuss protects your arteries from oxidative damage that most men do not realize accumulates silently daily. Number 5 contains compounds that researchers have compared to armor, shielding your cardiovascular system continuously. Number 5, sesame oil. Oxidative stress represents one of the most destructive forces attacking your cardiovascular system every single day, continuously. Free radicals form naturally during metabolism and increase dramatically with stress pollution, poor diet, and aging processes. These unstable molecules damage your arterial walls, creating the foundation for atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease development progressively. Without adequate antioxidant protection, free radicals accumulate and accelerate aging of your entire cardiovascular system dangerously. Most men have no idea this internal war rages constantly inside their bodies at the cellular level continuously. They feel fine externally, while microscopic damage accumulates inside their arteries over years and decades silently. By the time symptoms appear externally, significant arterial damage has already occurred internally, beyond easy repair, unfortunately. Sesame oil contains unique compounds called lignans, including sesamin and sesamolin, with extraordinary antioxidant properties demonstrated. A 2020 systematic review and meta-analysis examined 13 clinical trials involving over 500 participants comprehensively. Researchers found sesame supplementation significantly reduced markers of oxidative stress across multiple populations studied extensively. The mechanism involves sesame lignans inhibiting angiotensin-converting enzyme, which raises blood pressure when overly active continuously. These same lignans enhance endothelial nitric oxide synthase activity, promoting vasodilation and improved blood flow directly. This dual action of reducing pressure and enhancing vessel relaxation creates powerful cardiovascular protection overall systemically. A landmark study published in the Yale Journal of Biology and Medicine tracked hypertensive patients using sesame oil exclusively. Participants who used sesame oil as their sole cooking oil for 45 days showed remarkable blood pressure improvements. Both systolic and diastolic measurements decreased significantly, while antioxidant enzyme activity increased substantially throughout the group. The researchers concluded sesame oil could serve as effective nutritional intervention for hypertension management safely. David Martinez from Phoenix, Arizona, suffered from symptoms that seemed unrelated until we connected the underlying cause together. David was 59 years old and experienced frequent muscle cramps in his calves, especially at night, disruptively. He noticed his hands and feet felt cold constantly, regardless of the ambient temperature around him, regularly. His skin appeared pale, and he complained of persistent fatigue that no amount of sleep seemed to resolve adequately. His physician had ordered various tests but found nothing specifically wrong that explained all his symptoms comprehensively. Blood pressure measured borderline high at 140/88, but not enough to warrant immediate medication prescription. His cholesterol numbers fell within normal ranges, yet he continued feeling progressively worse over time, consistently. What no one had measured was his oxidative stress markers, which revealed the true source of his problems clearly. His malondialdehyde levels registered significantly elevated, indicating substantial free radical damage occurring continuously. His superoxide dismutase activity measured low, suggesting his natural antioxidant defenses had become depleted over time progressively. We incorporated sesame oil into his daily routine at 2 tablespoons, divided between meals for consistent delivery. He used it for light sautéing at moderate temperatures and drizzled it over Asian-inspired dishes he enjoyed regularly. The nutty flavor complemented his cooking style and made compliance easy to maintain over time consistently. Within 4 weeks, David noticed his muscle cramps decreased in frequency and intensity during nighttime sleep periods. His hands and feet began feeling warmer, and his skin developed healthier coloration, according to his own observations. His energy improved gradually, and he found himself able to exercise more vigorously without excessive fatigue afterward. At 8 weeks, his follow-up labs showed remarkable improvement in his oxidative stress markers measured previously. His malondialdehyde dropped by 38%, indicating significantly reduced free radical damage occurring systemically. His superoxide dismutase activity increased by 29%, showing restored natural antioxidant defense capacity effectively. His blood pressure had decreased to 132/82 without any pharmaceutical intervention whatsoever. David also reported improvement in his erectile function, which he had not initially mentioned as a primary concern. He said erections had become unreliable over the past 3 years, but he assumed that was simply normal aging occurring. With improved circulation and reduced oxidative damage, blood flow to his penis improved, alongside everything else simultaneously. Here is exactly how to use sesame oil for maximum antioxidant cardiovascular protection, according to the evidence available. Take 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, using it for cooking at moderate temperatures or as a finishing oil drizzled over dishes. Choose unrefined, toasted sesame oil for the highest lignin content and most potent antioxidant properties available commercially. The distinctive flavor works particularly well with Asian cuisine vegetables and grain-based dishes complementarily. Store in a cool, dark place and use within 6 months of opening to maintain potency and freshness optimally. Avoid using sesame oil for deep frying or extremely high heat applications, which can degrade beneficial compounds rapidly. Oxidative stress reduction begins within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent supplementation, according to clinical observations made. Blood pressure improvements typically follow within 4 to 8 weeks, as arterial function restores progressively over time. Erectile improvements generally parallel cardiovascular improvements, appearing within 8 to 12 weeks of sustained use consistently. But protecting your arteries from oxidation represents only half the battle for restoring healthy circulation completely. The next oil we discuss actually helps thin your blood, making it flow more easily through narrowed vessels effectively. Number 4 contains compounds that reduce platelet stickiness without the bleeding risks of pharmaceutical blood thinners significantly. Number 4, almond oil. Blood viscosity refers to how thick and sticky your blood becomes as various factors accumulate over time progressively. When blood thickens, it moves sluggishly through your vessels, like honey moving through a narrow straw slowly. Your heart must work harder to push this viscous fluid through your circulatory system with every single beat exhaustively. This extra workload strains your cardiovascular system and reduces blood flow to peripheral tissues, including your penis, substantially. Many men experience thick blood without ever receiving that specific diagnosis from their healthcare providers, unfortunately. They notice fatigue, shortness of breath, and difficulty concentrating as their brains receive less oxygen consistently. Their extremities feel cold because blood cannot reach them efficiently through narrowed vessels carrying thickened fluid. Erectile dysfunction develops because the small vessels feeding the penis cannot receive adequate blood flow anymore. The ATTIS study examined almond consumption and found significant improvements in endothelial-dependent vasodilation measurements directly. Adults at heightened cardiovascular disease risk experienced enhanced flow-mediated dilation after consuming almonds regularly, daily. This improvement measured 4.1% units compared to control snacks, representing meaningful vascular function enhancement clinically. Almond oil derives its benefits from exceptionally high vitamin E content and monounsaturated fatty acid composition beneficially. Vitamin E acts as a powerful antioxidant that protects blood vessel linings from damage that promotes clot formation dangerously. The monounsaturated fats help reduce LDL cholesterol oxidation, which contributes to the sticky plaque narrowing your arteries progressively. A study published in Free Radical Research found almond-enriched diets increased plasma alpha-tocopherol levels significantly. This vitamin E increase correlated with improved vascular function and reduced blood pressure measurements across participants studied. Researchers concluded almonds provided cardiovascular benefits through multiple complementary mechanisms working simultaneously together. Robert Johnson from Atlanta, Georgia, came to me experiencing symptoms his previous doctors had dismissed repeatedly. Robert was 61 years old and complained of frequent dizzy spells, especially when standing up quickly from seated positions. He experienced episodes where his vision would briefly blur before returning to normal after several seconds passed. His hands and feet remained perpetually cold, and he noticed persistent numbness in his toes, particularly at night. His blood work revealed elevated fibrinogen levels, indicating his blood had become abnormally prone to clotting dangerously. His platelet aggregation tests showed increased stickiness beyond normal ranges for his age group comparatively. His LDL cholesterol measured moderately elevated at 142, contributing to his overall cardiovascular risk profile significantly. We added almond oil to his daily routine at 1 tablespoon with breakfast and 1 teaspoon with dinner, consistently. He stirred it into his morning oatmeal where it added subtle, nutty flavor without overwhelming the dish noticeably. He drizzled the evening dose over his salad as part of a homemade dressing he prepared fresh, daily, regularly. Within 3 weeks, Robert noticed his dizzy spells occurred less frequently than before starting supplementation initially. His vision-blurring episodes decreased, and his hands felt warmer more consistently throughout each day progressively. The numbness in his toes improved, though did not disappear completely during this initial time period observed. At 8 weeks, his follow-up blood work showed meaningful improvements in markers his doctors had previously concerned about seriously. His fibrinogen levels decreased by 18%, indicating reduced blood clotting tendency overall substantially. His platelet aggregation normalized, suggesting his blood had become less sticky and flowed more easily throughout his system. His LDL cholesterol dropped to 124, contributing to improved overall cardiovascular risk assessment. Robert also experienced improvement in his erectile function that he had not initially connected to his circulation problems directly. He described feeling blood actually flowing into his penis during arousal for the first time in several years recently. His erections became firmer and more sustainable, allowing him to resume satisfying intimacy with his wife again, finally. Here is the protocol for using almond oil to support healthy blood viscosity and cardiovascular function effectively. Take 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, incorporated into foods rather than consumed straight for better absorption and tolerance. Choose cold-pressed, unrefined almond oil, which retains the highest concentrations of vitamin E and beneficial compounds available commercially. The mild flavor makes almond oil versatile for both sweet and savory applications without overpowering other ingredients noticeably. It works excellently in smoothies drizzled over oatmeal, mixed into salad dressings, or added to baked goods, appropriately. Store in a cool, dark place and use within 4 months of opening to ensure freshness and potency remain optimal. Blood viscosity improvements typically begin within 3 to 4 weeks of consistent supplementation, according to clinical observations made. Vascular function improvements may require 6 to 10 weeks of sustained use to reach full potential benefits maximally. Erectile improvements generally follow cardiovascular improvements, appearing within 8 to 12 weeks as blood flow mechanisms restore themselves progressively. But improving blood flow through better viscosity represents only part of what these remarkable oils can accomplish therapeutically. The next oil we discuss has been called the spark of life because it reignites vitality men thought they had lost forever. Number 3 contains a compound that researchers say works through mechanisms unlike anything else available naturally. Number 3, black seed oil. Chronic inflammation represents the silent killer that most men never realize is destroying them from inside continuously. Unlike acute inflammation that causes visible swelling and pain, chronic inflammation operates silently beneath your awareness constantly. It attacks your arterial walls year after year, creating the foundation for cardiovascular disease development progressively. By the time you notice symptoms, decades of inflammatory damage have already accumulated inside your blood vessels substantially. This inflammation does not appear on standard blood tests unless your doctor specifically orders inflammatory markers tested. Most annual physicals include cholesterol and blood sugar, but skip the inflammation measurements that often matter most significantly. Men walk around thinking they are healthy, while their arteries deteriorate from constant inflammatory assault relentlessly. Black seed oil contains thymoquinone, a compound with extraordinary anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties demonstrated repeatedly. A systematic review of randomized controlled trials published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine examined black seed effects comprehensively. Researchers found black seed supplementation significantly reduced blood pressure in patients with mild hypertension effectively. The anti-inflammatory mechanisms helped relax arterial walls and improve blood flow throughout the cardiovascular system substantially. A 2021 review in Frontiers in Pharmacology specifically examined thymoquinone effects on atherosclerosis development extensively. Researchers found it modulates nuclear factor kappa B signaling, which controls inflammatory gene expression throughout your body. By reducing this inflammatory pathway, thymoquinone helps prevent the cascade of events leading to arterial plaque formation progressively. Clinical trials have demonstrated black seed oil reduces systolic blood pressure by meaningful amounts without pharmaceutical intervention. One study showed participants taking black seed extract experienced decreased blood pressure within just 8 weeks of supplementation. The mechanism involves multiple pathways, including inflammation reduction, antioxidant protection, and improved endothelial function, simultaneously working together. William Thompson from Chicago, Illinois, had struggled with what he called the slow fade of his masculine vitality progressively. William was 65 years old and noticed his energy declining steadily over the past 5 years, continuously. His morning erections had disappeared completely, and his ability to achieve erections during intimacy had become unpredictable. He felt inflammation throughout his body with joint stiffness and persistent mild discomfort that never fully resolved. His C-reactive protein measured 4.8, indicating significant systemic inflammation operating throughout his body continuously. His blood pressure remained elevated at 148/92, despite lifestyle modifications he had attempted consistently. His homocysteine levels measured elevated, suggesting cardiovascular inflammation beyond what his standard tests revealed previously. We introduce black seed oil at 1 teaspoon twice daily with his morning and evening meals consistently. The oil has a strong, distinctive flavor that some people find challenging initially before adjustment occurs gradually. William mixed it with honey in the morning and incorporated it into a salad dressing in the evening for palatability. Within 4 weeks, William noticed his joint stiffness began improving noticeably, especially in the morning upon waking. His energy levels increased, and he found himself feeling more motivated to engage in physical activity throughout each day. His mood improved, which his wife attributed to reduced inflammatory burden affecting his brain function positively. At 12 weeks, his follow-up labs revealed remarkable improvements in his inflammatory markers and cardiovascular risk factors. His C-reactive protein dropped from 4.8 to 1.9, indicating dramatically reduced systemic inflammation throughout his body. His blood pressure decreased to 136/84 without adding any pharmaceutical interventions whatsoever. His homocysteine normalized, suggesting improved overall cardiovascular health status substantially. The change William appreciated most involved the return of his sexual vitality he thought he had lost forever, permanently. Morning erections returned after being absent for over 3 years, according to his own careful tracking observations. His erections during intimacy became more reliable, and his confidence in the bedroom improved, dramatically, overall, substantially. He described feeling like 10 years had been reversed in terms of his masculine energy and vitality specifically. Here is exactly how to use flaxseed oil for maximum anti-inflammatory cardiovascular benefit, according to research evidence. Take 1 teaspoon twice daily with meals to minimize the strong taste some people find initially challenging. Start with half a teaspoon twice daily for the first week, then increase to full dose as tolerance develops. Choose high thymoquinone flaxseed oil products that specify thymoquinone content on their labels clearly. Research suggests 3% or higher thymoquinone concentration provides optimal therapeutic benefits for cardiovascular health. Store in a dark, cool place because thymoquinone degrades with light and heat exposure relatively quickly over time. The strong flavor can be managed by mixing with honey, taking in capsule form, or adding to strong flavored foods strategically. Some people prefer taking it straight, followed immediately by a chaser of juice or water to minimize taste impact quickly. Anti-inflammatory effects typically begin within 2 to 4 weeks of consistent supplementation, according to clinical observations made. Blood pressure improvements generally appear within 6 to 8 weeks as arterial function improves progressively over time. Erectile improvements often follow within 8 to 16 weeks as overall cardiovascular health restores itself systematically, completely. But reducing inflammation represents only one approach to restoring the powerful circulation your body requires for optimal function. The next oil we discuss works through an entirely different mechanism that has stunned researchers around the world completely. Number 2 actually enhances nitric oxide, the molecule that controls whether your blood vessels open or close directly. Number 2, pomegranate seed oil. Nitric oxide represents the master regulator of blood flow throughout your entire cardiovascular system, fundamentally, completely. This simple molecule signals your arterial walls to relax and expand, allowing blood to flow freely through them, easily. Without adequate nitric oxide production, your arteries remain constricted and blood struggles to reach your tissues sufficiently. Every system in your body, including your brain, heart, and penis, depends on nitric oxide functioning properly, constantly. As men age, nitric oxide production declines progressively, leaving arteries increasingly stiff and constricted over time, chronically. By age 70, most men produce approximately 40% less nitric oxide than they did in their 20s comparatively. This decline explains why cardiovascular disease and erectile dysfunction increase dramatically with advancing age, correspondingly directly. Research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences discovered pomegranate has extraordinary effects on nitric oxide metabolism. Pomegranate protects nitric oxide from oxidative destruction, keeping it active in your bloodstream for longer duration periods. It also increases expression of endothelial nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that produces nitric oxide inside your blood vessels continuously. A landmark study found pomegranate juice enhanced the bioactivity of nitric oxide synthase in endothelial cells directly. Researchers observed pomegranate provided potent antioxidant protection that preserved nitric oxide against oxidative degradation substantially. The conclusion stated pomegranate results in marked protection of nitric oxide and augmentation of its biological actions significantly. The polyphenols in pomegranate, including punicalagins and ellagic acid, work through multiple complementary mechanisms simultaneously together. They scavenge free radicals that would otherwise destroy nitric oxide before it can relax your arteries effectively. They also reduce oxidation of LDL cholesterol, which damages arterial walls and impairs nitric oxide signaling cascades progressively. A study on atherosclerosis in animal models found pomegranate supplementation actually regressed existing arterial plaque substantially. This suggests pomegranate does not merely prevent further damage, but may help reverse damage that has already accumulated over years. The mechanism involves reducing inflammatory markers, improving lipid profiles, and enhancing arterial wall function simultaneously, comprehensively. James Anderson from Denver, Colorado, came to me after a frightening episode that changed his perspective on his health completely, dramatically. James was 67 years old when he experienced sudden nosebleeds that would not stop, requiring emergency room intervention urgently. His blood pressure measured 168/102 in the emergency department, indicating severe hypertension dangerously. The attending physician warned him he was at significant risk for stroke or heart attack without immediate, aggressive intervention. Beyond his blood pressure crisis, James had struggled with erectile dysfunction for over 4 years, continuously, progressively. He had tried prescription erectile dysfunction medications, but found the side effects, including headaches and flushing, intolerable practically. His relationship with his wife had suffered, as intimacy became impossible without reliable erectile function available consistently. We incorporated pomegranate seed oil alongside his newly prescribed blood pressure medication, complementarily, synergistically. He took 1 tablespoon daily mixed into his morning smoothie, where the tart flavor complemented the fruit well naturally. The combination allowed his medication to work more effectively, while the pomegranate addressed underlying nitric oxide dysfunction fundamentally. Within 6 weeks, his blood pressure had stabilized at 134/82, representing dramatic improvement from his emergency levels. His cardiologist was pleased enough to discuss eventually reducing his medication dosage if improvements continued steadily. His energy improved, and he reported feeling more mentally clear than he had in several years previously recently. The improvement that meant most to James happened in his intimate relationship with his wife of 42 years, emotionally. His erections returned with firmness he had not experienced since before his hypertension diagnosis originally. He no longer required pharmaceutical assistance to achieve satisfying intimacy with his wife successfully, consistently. The return of sexual function improved his mood, confidence, and overall quality of life, substantially, dramatically. Here is the protocol for using pomegranate seed oil to enhance nitric oxide function and cardiovascular health effectively, optimally. Take 1 tablespoon daily, preferably in the morning when nitric oxide production naturally peaks physiologically, normally. The tart, slightly astringent flavor works well mixed into smoothies, yogurt, or salad dressings for improved palatability consistently. Choose cold-pressed pomegranate seed oil from reputable sources that verify purity and concentration of active compounds carefully, thoroughly. Store refrigerated after opening and use within 3 months to maintain potency and prevent oxidation, degradation progressively. Nitric oxide enhancement typically begins within 1 to 2 weeks of consistent supplementation, according to clinical observations documented. Blood pressure improvements generally appear within 4 to 8 weeks as arterial relaxation improves steadily, progressively. Erectile improvements often manifest within 6 to 12 weeks as improved blood flow reaches penile tissues effectively, consistently. The synergy between pomegranate and other cardiovascular interventions creates benefits greater than either approach achieves alone, separately. But everything we have discussed so far leads to the most powerful oil on this list for overall circulation restoration comprehensively. Number 1 has been studied more extensively than any other natural oil for cardiovascular and erectile health specifically. Number 1, flaxseed oil. Everything you have learned in this video converges on the most researched, most powerful natural oil for men's cardiovascular health comprehensively. Flaxseed oil contains the highest concentration of alpha-linolenic acid among all plant sources available naturally. This omega-3 fatty acid works through mechanisms that address virtually every factor destroying your circulation simultaneously, comprehensively. From inflammation to blood clotting to arterial stiffness, flaxseed oil provides protection across the entire spectrum of cardiovascular risk factors. A 2024 meta-analysis examined flaxseed effects on blood pressure in hypertensive patients, specifically rigorously. Researchers found flaxseed supplementation significantly reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.6 millimeters of mercury. Diastolic blood pressure decreased by 4.9 millimeters, representing clinically meaningful reduction without pharmaceutical intervention entirely. These improvements occurred within weeks of starting supplementation and maintained with continued use consistently. The mechanism involves omega-3 fatty acids reducing inflammatory cytokines that damage arterial walls continuously, progressively. Flaxseed also decreases platelet aggregation, making blood less likely to form dangerous clots that block arteries fatally. The fiber and lignans in flaxseed provide additional benefits for cholesterol metabolism and hormonal balance comprehensively, simultaneously. Research published in the Canadian Journal of Cardiology tracked participants consuming flaxseed over extended periods comprehensively, extensively. The study found significant reductions in cardiovascular risk markers, including blood pressure, cholesterol, and inflammatory biomarkers measured. Participants experienced improvements in arterial compliance, meaning their blood vessels could expand and contract more normally, effectively, naturally. A comprehensive review in the European Journal of Medical Research examined flaxseed oil health benefits extensively, thoroughly, completely. Researchers documented cardiovascular protection attributed to lipid-lowering and antioxidant effects working together synergistically, beneficially. The alpha-linolenic acid converts partially to EPA and DHA, providing some benefits similar to fish oil supplementation, alternatively, effectively. For men specifically, flaxseed oil provides benefits beyond general cardiovascular protection that matter tremendously, personally, intimately. The improved blood flow and reduced inflammation directly support erectile function through multiple mechanisms simultaneously, comprehensively. Studies have shown omega-3 fatty acids improve endothelial function, which is essential for achieving and maintaining firm erections consistently, reliably. Charles Williams from Boston, Massachusetts, represents perhaps the most dramatic transformation I have witnessed in my practice personally. Charles was 72 years old when he came to me, convinced his best years were permanently behind him, irretrievably. He had survived a transient ischemic attack 2 years earlier, which his doctor said was a warning sign of impending stroke, dangerously. His circulation had declined to the point where walking 1 block left him breathless and exhausted completely, totally. His blood pressure remained poorly controlled at 158/96, despite 3 different medications taken daily, consistently. His triglycerides measured 242, placing him at elevated cardiovascular risk continuously, constantly. His erectile function had disappeared completely over 5 years earlier, and he had accepted this loss as inevitable, permanent, unchangeable. His cardiologist had warned him about the dangers of blood clots, given his history of transient ischemic attack previously. His D-dimer levels measured elevated, indicating active clot formation processes occurring inside his bloodstream dangerously, continuously. The fear of another neurological event hung over every day of his life like a dark cloud, constantly oppressively. We began flaxseed oil supplementation at 1 tablespoon twice daily, alongside his existing medication regimen, carefully complementarily. He took it mixed into his morning oatmeal and his evening yogurt, where the mild nutty flavor blended well, naturally, pleasantly. I emphasized the importance of never heating flaxseed oil because heat destroys the beneficial omega-3 compounds rapidly, completely. The first changes Charles noticed involved his energy levels and exercise tolerance.
Improving gradually, progressively, steadily. Within 4 weeks, he could walk 2 blocks without stopping, compared to his previous 1 block limitation previously. His breathing felt easier, and the chronic fatigue that had plagued him began lifting noticeably, substantially, significantly.
At 8 weeks, his blood pressure had decreased to 138/84, representing the best control he had achieved in years. His triglycerides dropped to 178, showing meaningful improvement in lipid metabolism function overall systemically. His D-dimer levels normalized, suggesting reduced clot formation activity occurring inside his bloodstream, protectively, safely. At 16 weeks, Charles reported something he never expected to experience again at his age. Surprisingly, remarkably. Morning erections returned after being completely absent for over 5 years, according to his own tracking observations carefully. He described the sensation as blood actually flowing into his penis for the first time in years, powerfully, substantially. His wife was stunned when intimacy became possible again, after they had both accepted its permanent loss previously, sadly. His cardiologist was so impressed with his improvements that she began recommending flaxseed oil to other patients routinely, regularly. Charles continues taking flaxseed oil daily and has maintained his improvements for over 18 months now, currently, consistently. He walks 3 miles every morning and reports feeling younger than he did at 65 years old, comparatively, relatively. Here is the definitive protocol for using flaxseed oil to maximize cardiovascular and erectile health benefits, comprehensively, completely. Take 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, divided between morning and evening doses, for consistent nutrient delivery throughout each day. Never heat flaxseed oil under any circumstances, because heat destroys alpha-linolenic acid almost immediately, completely, rapidly. Choose cold-pressed organic flaxseed oil stored in dark bottles and kept refrigerated at all times, consistently, carefully. The oil oxidizes quickly when exposed to light heat or air, so proper storage is absolutely essential for maintaining potency optimally. Use within 6 weeks of opening and discard any oil that develops a bitter or paint-like odor indicating oxidation damage. Take flaxseed oil with food to improve absorption and reduce any mild digestive effects some people experience initially. Start with 1 tablespoon daily for the first week, then increase to full dose as your body adjusts to the increased omega-3 intake gradually, progressively. Ground flax seeds provide similar benefits and can serve as an alternative for those who dislike the oil format, particularly. Blood pressure improvements typically appear within 4 to 8 weeks of consistent supplementation, according to research evidence documented. Lipid improvements generally manifest within 8 to 12 weeks as fatty acid metabolism adjusts to increased omega-3 intake progressively. Erectile improvements often follow cardiovascular improvements, appearing within 12 to 16 weeks as overall circulation restores itself systematically, comprehensively. One important note involves potential interactions with blood-thinning medications you may already be taking currently. Flaxseed oil has mild blood-thinning effects that can enhance prescription anticoagulants, potentially dangerously significantly. Always inform your physician about flaxseed oil supplementation, especially if you take warfarin, aspirin, or other blood thinners regularly currently. Conclusion. We have traveled together through the science behind 8 remarkable oils that can transform your circulation fundamentally, comprehensively. From extra virgin olive oil that protects your arteries from oxidation damage to flaxseed oil that addresses virtually every cardiovascular risk factor simultaneously, synergistically. Each oil works through distinct mechanisms that complement and enhance the others when used strategically, together, wisely. The research supporting these oils comes from prestigious institutions, including Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, and Johns Hopkins, comprehensively. Thousands of participants have been tracked across dozens of clinical trials over years and decades of investigation systematically. The evidence is not anecdotal or based on ancient folklore alone, without scientific validation supporting it strongly. But knowing about these oils means nothing if you do not take action to incorporate them into your daily life practically, consistently. The choice before you right now is simple but profound in its implications for your future health trajectory. You can continue accepting declining circulation as inevitable aging you cannot change at all, helplessly. Or you can begin today using the tools nature provides to support your cardiovascular system actively, proactively. Your heart deserves better than silent decline into disease and dysfunction without any resistance from you personally. Your brain deserves the blood flow it needs to think clearly, remember accurately, and function optimally, daily, constantly. Your legs deserve warmth and strength to carry you wherever you want to go, freely, independently. And yes, your penis deserves the powerful blood flow required to respond when you want intimacy with the person you love deeply, emotionally. The men who achieve the best results combine multiple oils, strategically addressing different mechanisms simultaneously, comprehensively. Start with 1 or 2 oils that address your most pressing concerns, and add others gradually over time, progressively. Track your blood pressure, cholesterol, and how you feel to document improvements occurring systematically, objectively, carefully. Most importantly, remember that these oils work best as part of comprehensive lifestyle approach, including healthy diet, regular exercise, adequate sleep, and stress management, consistently, continuously. No single supplement replaces the fundamentals of cardiovascular health that you control through daily choices, repeatedly, constantly. If this information has opened your eyes to possibilities you did not know existed previously before, share this video with another man who needs it desperately, urgently. Too many men suffer silently with circulation problems, believing nothing can help them anymore, hopelessly. Your act of sharing could change someone's life trajectory toward health instead of disease, positively, dramatically. Leave a comment below telling me which oil you will start with first and what symptoms you hope to address specifically, particularly. I read every comment personally and use your feedback to create content that serves you better, more effectively, precisely. Subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss the evidence-based guidance that could transform your health completely, comprehensively. Thank you for investing this time in learning about your cardiovascular health and what you can do about it actively, proactively. Your circulation carries life to every cell in your body, and protecting it protects everything you value most deeply, meaningfully. The knowledge you have gained today becomes valuable only when you act on it, starting now, immediately, today. Your heart is waiting for you to support it properly, adequately, consistently. Your arteries are ready to respond to the care you give them daily, continuously. Your body possesses remarkable capacity to heal and restore function when given proper support, consistently, reliably. And the intimate connection you share with your partner deserves the healthy circulation that makes it possible, satisfyingly, completely. This is your moment to choose a different path forward toward vitality, health, and connection, meaningfully, significantly. The oils are available, the science is clear, and the only question remaining is whether you will take action today, now, immediately. Choose wisely, because your future self will thank you for the decision you make right now, today, immediately. Your story is far from over, and the next chapter can be your best one yet, potentially remarkably.